Alloch déisteachta. Is mis sé imar na conacha agus Thompson idir bblion is scailchamseach Chiaráin ar a gar rua. Rúgu agus tógiú me an Gaeltach Chonamara, an cantar Gaeltachtas mús tír. Ní róla me béla go dtí gur me seachna na gaiis. Chama ma óige ar a gui chéan a cha chola gás ar eile sa tír na blianta sin. Sin téin difricht amháin na gnear na mis agus mochas cordze thuí gailge. Ach bhí brú ar le a bant lei sin. Agus mu a fólam béla agus mu a géirí láirt na chéile, ní bhacht trí ocail ráteng sol a stoppach na fásta muid, agus gnéir díis láricí gailge. Gan sib ní waide an tanga, is sib an chéad chlún eile. A cháde nach bocht de scéala sin. Níl se ceart agus níl se cód, gur agus níor cheart gur a gasú na Gaeltachta a bheith an tualach sin. Dhéirí gúnaí ling ní neart go chur le chéile. Ach cén fá nach dag an sibse a folitúí le chéile ling chun an ghailge a chothú agus an neartú. Is minic go mbeadh na gasú a héin sig na colistí saora in éiad le pobl na Gaeltachta. Agus cá mar rá cháde ní bhfuil chu damhla. Ach tá níos mú bháin leis an Gaeltacht na ceol agus órán áling, céalaí agus dam sa bríomhar. Tá éagóid chá dionne ar phobal na Gaeltachta le 100 bliana nuas. Tá an córas in ár náid, agus ní chafar ach siúlaisteach an aon scoil sa tír chun sin na hiiscint. Is cum a céhéad iireachta a chun an gastar na Gaeltachta is seach. Má tá an córas éidechais in ár náid, tá mise, mochid cárde agus cholaghanne as cantar Gaeltachta fácaí ag snáb an áasa ar feadh ar good síl. Irish is, under Article 8 of the Constitution, our first national language, meant to be cherished and given a place in modern-day Ireland. Ever since the establishment of the Irish Free State in 1922, however, every single government since has failed to uphold that constitutional promise. If anyone in this room can say that Irish is indeed given the same value as English in our society, they would be lying. A country with a population of 6 million, and yet census figures show that only 74,000 people speak Irish daily. An embarrassment and a tragedy. Irish is often forgotten when politicians are discussing our country's problems. Yet after years of negligence, there are more problems than ever. Why should I be punished as a native speaker in my state exams? Why must I have to sit a T1 exam? If it was proposed that there would be an easier exam for non-native English speakers, there would be uproar. Why must I sit a more difficult exam with less marks going for the oral purely because I'm good at it? Why must the translations of the exams be so terrible that before my junior cert, every single teacher warned us that we must request a copy of the English exam to stand a chance? Why must half my textbooks be in English or horrifically translated Irish? And why must I have to use a stilted, ugly form of the language I love so deeply at the risk of losing marks for using my Connemara Irish rather than an Caidan? My answer to this problem is simple. A complete overhaul of the education system surrounding the Irish language must happen. Irish should be split into 2 subjects, one compulsory and one optional. Compulsory Irish should be completely focused on communication. Reading, writing and grammar would of course be a part of the curriculum, but at least 50% of marks would be awarded to an oral examination. Ireland's youth would leave school with their national language at the tip of their tongues, proud of being able to carry on thousands of years of history and culture. Irish literature would then be an optional subject, in which students could study the poems and stories that, whilst important, are simply too much for a student who does not understand the language. Confident students could choose to take this subject, ensuring these texts would not be lost. Irish would be enjoyable, and students would not gain such a distaste and loathing for the language. The current system is a waste of time and resources. Take, for example, modern European languages. Studied in secondary school for 6 years, and yet students have a much better understanding of these languages than Irish that they have studied for 14 years. Also, embrace the different dialects, rather than forcing us into the standard, which frankly fails to capture the beauty and emotions that dialectical Irish does so effortlessly. In 21st century Ireland, there is a want and a need for Irish. At public events and on St. Patrick's Day, politicians hasten to speak a few words of Irish. And as nice as it is to hear, it's simply not good enough. Every politician should make it a personal mission to improve their Irish and to speak it often and with pride. Irish is often viewed as a dull, difficult subject, teaching an obsolete and dead language. With a different education system and attitude, people will begin to realise she is a valuable and vibrant part of our heritage. This is not a new subject. There was a Gaeltacht civil rights movement during the late 60s and 70s around the country, particularly Connemara. And Achtanis in the 6 counties continue to campaign for their Irish language rights. I myself have attended 2 of their protests, dubbed An Lá Dearg, most recently this past May. It was heartwarming to witness thousands of Irish speakers walking the streets of Belfast, singing Irish songs and speaking our language full of pride and joy. 2 weeks ago, I made my annual pilgrimage to Killarney for Oireachtas na Saona, where all around you for 5 days straight was a celebration of Irish music, dance, poetry, and above all, language. This should not be an annual occurrence worth noting. It should be accepted that on any given day, in any given corner of Ireland, you could turn to the person beside you and speak Irish to them. After all, Behatanga Ial Arts. Da mengshe mohishach ar fan lei, darung in chorus edachus a wanan leshin gaelge, agus huring an muinu atá ag tastal go géir go cheantar Gaeltachta. Tá an Gaeltacht ar a dé dere, agus na míl sa blian stare agus cultúr in dhéanach lei. Ach níl se róháil. Bhíonn súl le mud ach ní bhíonn súl le hua. Asoch déirí folitúí, gníomhaigí, agus túraigí cosint gon Gaeilge agus gon Gaeltacht. Tír gan tanga, tír gan anam. Gur mágé.